close cousin button of the unfold test button that we've been using is the unfold and export. So it does essentially the same thing, but it does one extra step, and that is that it sends the unfolded piece to the print window so that you can then print it. So instead of just testing it, let's click on the unfold and export button. Click on the house again. Sure enough, it goes to the red, which is telling us that it hasn't sent because it's too big. So I'm going to undo that, go into the Waybe preferences again, switch to tabloid, so bigger paper, and then do the same thing. This time we get a green ground. The green is identical to the blue that we saw before, the difference being that it's telling me that it's actually sent this to the print window. So if I click on this printer icon, you can see the cut-up has been sent to the window. So here I can move the cut-up around. I have some various options like saving it, adding text. So here's an example of adding text. I can also move the text around, place it in different places. I can rotate the images. And then the most important one by far is the print, the ability to print these out, and it'll align everything out for you automatically. So that's the print window. So let's close that. A button beside the open print window button is the purge print window or clear print window. So you click that. If we open that again, we'll see nothing's there. So just to confirm, so the unfold test, let's run that again. So this time without the green background, just the test. If we run that and it's blue, and then we go to the print window, we don't see anything. Whereas if we run the unfold test and export, and then we open the print window, sure enough, you see the item. Okay, so let's talk about this TIE fighter now, or TIE interceptor, on the right-hand side of the page. So I'll undo that. Let's get rid of this house, as beautiful as it is, and focus our attention here. And I want to use the TIE interceptor to talk about the grouping principle in SketchUp. So you'll notice here, the house that we were working on, it was a single piece. It was a bunch of faces that all connected into one piece, and therefore Waybe unfolded it as one continuous piece. As you build more complicated models, like this TIE fighter is relative to the house, if you want the ability to build those complicated models, you need to group things into relatively less complicated pieces. So for example, here we have a winglet piece, we have kind of the core of the wing, the underside of the wing, this little thing, then there's the connectors to the cockpit, and then there's the cockpit. So there's a collection of 9 or so pieces here. Now the way Waybe works is it'll try to unfold each piece individually. If I was to, let's make a copy of this fighter, paste it, and what I'll do is I'll explode this. So now it's got no groups, that particular piece. It's all just a bunch of faces and lines attached to one another. So let's run some tests and compare what Waybe does in each case. Now, because this one is nicely grouped, Waybe knows exactly what piece is what, and it knows how to deal with it. So if we go into the unfold test, I go to the cockpit, unfolds nicely. I go to this winglet, it unfolds nicely. This piece unfolds nicely. Whatever piece I want unfolds. Whereas if I go to this cockpit, try to do it, in this case it's giving me some kind of error, detected internal faces, which is actually a specific error for Waybe. Basically it's saying that there's just the nature of the faces is such that there's no physical way to unfold it in one piece. And then it'll give it a valiant effort. In this case it didn't even try to unfold anything because it's impossible. Essentially the command that we've told it to do is, oh, Waybe, I want you to unfold this entire thing in one continuous piece without breaking it up at all into subcomponents. So Waybe doesn't like that. It won't work for that, and it won't do it automatically for you. So you do have to, when you're designing your objects, you have to make sure there's some semblance of organization. The nice thing about that is in SketchUp you typically design like that anyway. You typically design as individual groups and then combine all the groups into the final object. It's good design practice. But I mean, that's one of the things, one of the constraints that you have to think about as you're designing is, what are the logical groups that you should have so that you can make this thing the cutout's really nice.